what's up?
Hey Danny, happy Monday. It's a beautiful day in Philadelphia. How is the weather out on your part of town?
It is actually really, really nice. Your girl been in the gym, everybody had something to say. So been trying to get my workout on, but it's been a really, really beautiful day today. So we're actually throwing some meat on the grill tonight and
Yum.
you know, uh trying to get my keto on, girl. So everything's going good. I can't complain a bit. Not one
Same,
bit.
same here. Got to get my workout on. I still, got these pandemic pounds.
Not the
Post pandemic,
pandemic pounds, girl.
pandemic is gone, right? But these pounds are still on. So we got
They
to keep
said the
going.
pandemic is on its way back. Have you heard that?
Oh my goodness, no, don't now, don't come back.
Um, yeah, I've been hearing that. Like, it's another strain that is a part of. Is another strain that's a part of the Omicron. Yeah,
Okay.
and it's making its way.
Ugh.
I know. It gets so scary. Like when you think about it, it's so scary.
Yeah.
Anyway, what else has been happening, honey? I feel like it's so weird just having us two here,
I
but
know.
we're gonna push through and
The show
talk some
must go
stuff.
on, child.
Yeah. Shout out to Amethyst Stone. She says spring is here and summer is just around the corner, and our nation is finally out of the lockdown phase after 2 years, part one. You have a great point, Amethyst, because this is definitely part one. Um, I don't know. It's interesting because when you look out at the country, I see more violence, and I think of course, there's always been violence, but I don't know if it's a thing that I'm paying more so attention to right now because I'm older. But like I be worried about everything. Like, damn, if I go outside, if I go to my old part of town or whatever, is it gonna be something bad? And it's just kind of got me a little. Ooh, I don't know. Look at D Mac, you so messy. Oh, you so messy. Not the bootleg version, child.
Don't,
It's me and
don't do
Naima,
us that.
honey.
Don't do us that way, D Mac.
Baby D Mac is ghetto.
He on that road, that long road. So I guess he want to talk his smack.
Uh-oh. Shout out to Amethyst Stone again. She says, and you think a smart black woman like me is going to be marching and protesting and doing a call to action? Part two? Oh, girl. Mm. Let's get off into it because that's what we're here for. We are here to talk about this case with Courtney Tailor and Toby Abumwali. Abumwali? Abumwali? I think that's how you say it.
Abu Sali, Abu Wali, Abu Obi.
Girl, we need to pronounce that man's name right. You don't care, Naima?
Uh, Obamseli,
Umbumsele.
Obamseli, Obamseli.
Okay. Okay. So, um, it's so interesting that this case is going on. And so Courtney Tailor is a Instagram model. She also has an OnlyFans account. Her Instagram account boasts over 2 million followers. She's been on what's the show called with the two guys. You know the two guys.
Fresh and fit.
Fresh and Fit, girl, was
Okay.
on the tip of my tongue. But she has this. She's been on Fresh and Fit. Um, she's been with this guy. I don't even know how long. I was trying to find out how long she had been with the guy, but when she did the interview on Fresh and Fit, she sounded like very much like a single woman, but I wasn't sure. But she was with the guy, and I think they've been off and on. They've had some domestic disputes. I think I listened to something that said the police have been called like several times over the last month due to their disturbances. Um, and so one night, they got into it real bad and she killed him. Instead of taking her to jail, she was taken to a psych place, and something called the Baker's Act was put in place. And we're gonna look up the Baker's Act because I was supposed to have did this like a little while ago, but I actually forgot to do it. So I'm gonna look up the Baker's Act. Naima, what can you add to this story?
Well, I believe that the I've heard basically that inside of the relationship, it was said that the neighbor told the station that he saw Toby striking Courtney a week before the stabbing. And the friends have reported that they've seen on different occasions, like each one hitting each other. So,
Yes.
yeah. But they did say that the relationship was very toxic. Um,
Mm.
yeah, yeah, it's been a toxic relationship. And I think that with her, like I was watching on YouTube, and basically she already had a career. Her career was based her career. She had a YouTube career, so she was a YouTuber. She would do like bikini workouts and stuff like that. So even prior to her OnlyFans, she was into like girls going wild kind of not girls going wild. I don't want to say that, but basically just kind of wanted to make a profit, off of her physicalities. I'll say that. So that's been her thing. So the OnlyFans was just a segue into her making the money that she's making now.
Okay. Shout out to Dane C. He says, "Hey Naima and Sis G. 99% of the black women on social media, tweets or no tweets, was never marching. Hashtag stop the cap." Dane, that's a very interesting thing. You say it's about 99%. Now, I don't know if it's going to be like a 99% that weren't marching. I don't know if it's that much. Naima, what do you think about that number that 99% of women weren't ever never marching?
I believe that a lot of women want to sit this out. So I don't know what percentage of women, but women, they're not going anymore. So a lot of support that women would normally give, they're not extending that out any longer.
Okay. And I definitely want to get off into that. I'm going to read the Baker's Act first, and I have it pulled up here. Dane, thank you so much for your super chat. And the Baker's Act says the Florida Baker Act law allows doctors, mental health professionals, judges, and law enforcement to commit a person to a mental health treatment for up to 72 hours if they display certain violent or suicidal signs of mental illness. The purpose of the Baker Act is to allow time for a mental health evaluation to be performed and to de escalate a crisis. This evaluation will confirm whether the individual is experiencing a mental health issue and if the person is determined to be a danger to themselves or others. They will be released after a holding period. The act is named after a former Florida Representative Maxine Baker. It was established in the early 1970s as part of the Florida Mental Health Act. Notably, this act restored rights to many individuals with mental health issues by releasing those who were not a danger to themselves or others. Now, that being said, it has definitely been more than 72 hours. This woman is still in jail. She's still out on the streets. She was recently seen. I saw a post on the Shade Room where a black woman did see her out and did call her out on it because she was at a hotel bar. And yeah, she was hanging around chilling. And it's a lot of black women who are saying that they're going to sit this one out and they aren't going. They're choosing to withdraw support completely. A lot of them are saying they don't want any parts of that, and I thought that was interesting. But Naima, I want to know your thoughts on it.
Well, my thoughts is I think Courtney knew that in her relationship she had that privilege, right? She had white privilege, she had class privilege, and she had woman privilege. And all those things she knew would all lean in her favor. And I'm not
Mm.
saying that this was intentional, that this stabbing that she did to delete this brother Toby, right? But in the relationship, she knew that she had all these different privileges over him, and I believe that in the relationship, when basically she's checking all these boxes of her privilege, and since the relationship has been toxic and they have been reported, DV violence, she knew that if something was ever to go to the extreme, that things will always be in her favor with her being with that white privilege. And there is a privilege there. And the men and the interracial daters or Toby, he knew that. He knew that there was a privilege there. And I think she wanted to that's why she went to the bar. Another woman had called her out saying, "Why are you here? You just stabbed somebody." She was there with her father, and they took a video of that. Um, so she didn't care. She did not care. It's like, listen, this is my white privilege. I can come and go where I want to and do what I want to. And that's kind of like, it's sad to say, but when you are on the bottom, then you don't have that. The privilege is not there for you. Young Peasy said they both use hard drugs. I noticed that in her voice. She definitely have a druggy voice.
Girl, not a druggy voice.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely deep. Um, what do you think in regards to black women withdrawing support completely?
Um, I believe that with I believe that since he wrote disparaging comments in regards to black women, then I don't, he don't fuck with black women. So I believe that, he doesn't want the support anyway. So he would have to find that support from other white women and other African men or black men. They have to go in there and to support him. There's no way that he would expect a black woman to come and support him, knowing that basically he's like, I don't I don't F with you women. So I don't even think he will want the support. But you know what? It's a funny thing, because a woman did tweet something out. This woman tweeted, she said, "So Christian Ubum silly, a black man who constantly bashed black women for white women was murdered by a white woman, and y'all want black women to do what exactly? Question mark. Y'all got to stop this SHIT in 2022." And I find that you have to be very careful, right? Because you can have a preference, and that's never been any issue with anybody. Same thing with the fresh and fit thing. The fresh and fit guys were saying things about darkies and all these different kind of things. And it's okay to have a preference, but when you start disparaging those women, and then when they say when those tables turn and you need the support and it's not there, then it's no way that can feel a way about it. And women
Let
are,
me ask you a question because when we talk about these tweets, and it's so crazy to me that everybody's lived this perfect social media life, and everyone has had this perfect social media presence. A lot of the things that were tweeted, and I think it was the majority, was tweeted when the boy was in high school. Does that make a difference, if he tweeted these things in high school, but he may not have felt the same way about black women, but he had a preference for white women? Does it matter in that regard?
no, it wouldn't matter, because he tweeted those out in high school, and and he chose to be with a white woman because of those comments. So nothing has changed about him. Nothing has changed. Yeah.
E. I'm gonna say that I disagree with that.
Okay.
I think that this is the thing that I'm looking at. When we fight for and let's say what's going on against him is definitely an injustice. It's definitely an injustice. But I'm looking at what if the situation was reversed and a black woman was in that situation when she was dating a white guy, like the stuff that happened with Lauren Smith Fields. It's crazy as hell to me because I do see somebody of color and I see an injustice happening to that person of color. And because they've dated or they have preferences for whomever, we won't support them. They don't have our support. We're going to sit this one out. Let the Beckys take care of it. Let the Beckys handle it. Or let the white man, I don't even hear black men saying let the white man handle it. But when I look at that and I look at us as a society, it's almost like this man's family isn't grieving. And it was this man who said those things, not his family. His family even said, and his brother came out and addressed this in a statement. And I think his brother was saying that my brother does not feel like this about black women anymore. He is chilling. He's been with this girl, but he doesn't feel like that about black women anymore. And I don't know. I just find it interesting that we can't necessarily change our minds. And I had a conversation with this about with Concrete yesterday. And I just think it's interesting that if you say something back in high school, no matter how old it is, if you said it, you meant it, and we have a right to support you or not support you. And I almost think that's a bit hypocritical of us.
Um. Yeah. So unfortunately, you can feel however way you want to feel, but in this day and age, like I said before, black women, they're waking up and they're not giving that support anymore. And it goes for anybody, a woman or a man. You have to be careful with what you say. And this is a prime example of be careful what you wish for. Not in the sense of, not to the extent of the death thing, right? Because my condolences to the family. And I don't wish death upon anyone. But we have to be careful with what we're saying about our own, when you're in a racial relationship and you want to speak badly about your own group. And this goes for anybody, it doesn't matter. Black, white, Indian, Asian, it does not matter. But what happens is we tend to, as black folks, we tend to do the back and forth about each other heavier than any other group. We do this. It's in the media. It's all we ever do. So yes, it's going to be on the forefront. It's going to be very noticeable. So in a sense, this is a prime example of be careful what be careful what you say because it comes back to bite you in the butt. Um, so we have to just choose our words wisely when we're tweeting out. And it's not that we can't say that like our own people who do ghetto shit, right? Because yeah, we do ghetto shit, right? But when we want to put it out in the sense of that disparaging, like we're saying it because we want brownie points from the other race, that's when it becomes like a problem.
I agree to it to a certain degree, but if we're in high school and we're talking shit in high school, and he was talking a lot of shit in high school, I don't necessarily know if it's appropriate to charge him up for whatever because he was in high school. When Lauren Smith Field passed away or was actually murdered herself, she did say some discouraging things. It wasn't horrible to me about black men, but it's like we don't withdraw support from if she's dating a white man, black women won't withdraw support unless it's about black women. Would you agree to that?
Black women won't draw support unless it's about black women.
Yeah, like it. Okay, so being that it's this guy and he was stabbed by a white girl, black women are like, "Oh my God, he said something bad about black women, so we're withdrawing our support." If a black woman says something bad about black men, black women won't withdraw their support. Would you agree to that?
Yeah, I find that, yeah, black women, we could be very biased. It's like we definitely hone in on the interracial thing for sure. So that's like a blinders on when that situation comes. Yeah, so I can agree to that.
Do you think it's coming from a place of feeling like of black women feeling like they were betrayed?
Yeah, I believe that black women are expressing themselves. They're expressing themselves in a way that shows that I'm not right. I feel betrayed, and I can't, and I'm not going anymore. So basically, there's no need to be upset, or shout at the top of your lungs. What you do is you show with your you show you vote with your feet, as they say, right? So black women right now, they're voting with their feet, meaning not to engage in whatever he had going on.
Do you see black women as their own entity?
Well, black women, in a sense, um, in certain cases, yes, it is. Black women can be on their own entity, because black women in the community have that power. Yes,
Hmm.
yeah.
Okay. Um, it's interesting. Do you think that black women will ever come in unity with black men, or is that day and age over? Like black women are an entity of their own, black men are an entity of their own.
I believe as a whole that us coming together, we need to. If we're going to come together, then we need to really come together for major things in the sense of building the community, generational wealth, infrastructure, all those different things. Because everything else is just, to me, is just in the way. So if we come together for what's most important, everything else can, in a sense, fix itself. Not completely, but some kinks can be worked out if we do what's most important with those things I mentioned.
So you said infrastructure and what else?
Infrastructure, the community, generational wealth. If we hone in on those things, a lot of things can definitely be worked out.
And
Yeah.
how would we begin to fix generational wealth without the presence of well, with the marriage rate declining the way it is?
That's what I'm saying. That'll be something that will have to work itself out. Because one, if we in the first, if we start in these communities, right? That's where the happenings is happening in the communities, right? The robberies, the killings, um, not buying our communities, everyone else buying up our communities, right? While we sit back and we look, look around and we paying rent for the rest of our lives, we don't own homes. So I think if we start with those things, then we will get to a place of the other things. But I don't want to get off into the community kind of thing, but um, I just think that yes, black women, in a sense, as women, it is a certain type of entity because we're women. We we bear the children, so we think a little bit differently than in a sense the and what the man would think. If you're separate, if you're together, there's something different. You think together as a whole. When you're separate, yeah, it's kind of like I'm seeing two different takes on what's needed and responsibilities and things like that.
Yeah, I see a huge divide with the black community, as far as black women being on one side and black men being on the other. To be honest with you, I don't hear a lot of black men really harping on this topic and situation, especially guys that are and do represent like the SYSBM or the passport bros. I don't see a lot of them talking about this situation. Um, I wonder like why not, or exposing like the whole everything that goes on with interracial relationships. and marriages and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't see a lot of that, but as far as a community is concerned, I don't see us as a together community. And it's interesting because I do want black women and black men to repair our relationships, but it to me, in this situation, to me, it's like if a person wrote some tweets back in high school, and he may or may not feel like that about black women now, but he could be with his preference. If a black woman died and she was with her preference, but she died and she was killed by a white man, and she said some derogatory things, I'm sure like black women would still support her and support her GoFundMe's or whatever. And I feel like they should support this man to a certain degree. To a certain degree. But I hear so many, it's like, well, we're sitting this one out. This ain't got nothing to do with us. And I'm looking at the injustices that have happened in this country to so many people. And it's like this happened to a black man in Miami under U.S. law. It would be a difference if he was in his country and this happened, but he was in Miami under U.S. law, and this woman is still out of jail because of her privilege. Then when it comes down to if a white woman comes and kills a black woman, and this then she's able to claim that she's crazy and be out, and it's like we don't want to stand for total injustices but fight our own causes, and I don't know if that's necessarily the best strategy. Strategy wise, I don't think that's the best strategy for black women. Then when it comes down to things that we say on social media, I was looking at something, I was thinking about something. Okay, if you go back to a lot of our accounts in 10 years ago, if you go back 5, 10 years ago, a lot of people were different people. And the emergence of social media has not been, social media started maybe back in the 90s, like the 90s, right? And he's fairly young. So if he tweeted some stuff out when he was a kid, I don't necessarily expect him to have that same type of thinking. But it's like we're gonna penalize each other for things said when we were kids or when we were immature or where we haven't matured yet. And then the message is, well, you need to watch what you say online. You can't say anything online. You need to watch what you say. And I get that to a certain degree, but I'm sitting here like, if you were a child and you tweeted something inappropriate or immature, or if you have somebody that sent out some nudes or something back in the day, I don't feel like they should be penalized for the rest of their lives about it. But I don't know.
Yeah, well, I don't think so either. Because at the end of the day, it's how we tend to move or maneuver or not move or maneuver, right? There's a karmic debt to that, and I believe that that is true. Whether and that goes for any and everybody. It goes for the community. It goes for individually. It doesn't matter. We think that in the sense that we can move as the individual, and you can move individually, but collectively, right? It a lot of things would hurt us. But what's happening is because even Umar Johnson, when he talked about it, and he admitted, he says that, well, black women, it doesn't matter what black men do, you still should support and be loyal. And black women, we're not swallowing that pill any longer. So, because we would support black men. It doesn't matter. They can date out. They can talk all the crap that they want to, or whatever. And we'll still back them. But in 2022 or 2021, is those days are done. And slowly but surely, there will be a turn, and I think it will be a turn for the worse.
I'm looking at like, look at this sick person right here. Thank you, Courtney Toby deserved it. Um, do
Now
you
that's not
think
right.
that's sick? That's really sick. That's sick.
Yeah, no one does. And then the thing when it comes to death, right? No one deserved death, right? But we know that in war there's death, right? There was no war there, right? That was a relationship. They weren't on the battlefield. They weren't fighting for a cause or any of those things. So no one should, yeah, wish. death upon anyone. That's just to the extreme for me.
Do you think that black men and black women are at war with each other, or do you see that happening down the line?
Yeah, I believe there's a slight war between black men and black women. Um, yeah, I do believe that. And as in this situation, black women are saying in the comments, "Oh, I'm sorry, my condolences, but this is not my fight." So, in a sense, that is in a sense war, saying that I can't back you. I can support you from afar, but I can't do anything past that. My condolences to you and your family. You know, and you and hopefully you guys will work this matter out. But yeah, black women, they're no, and black men see it too, and I believe that black men see it. Um, they see that black women, they're not doing the blind support anymore, and that's what's going on. And this is just the beginning stage. I think it hasn't trickled down to anything else yet, but this is the beginning stage of black women is just stepping back.
Do you think that's a good strategy for black women, though?
Um, whether it's a strategy or not, um, and that's when the individuality would kick in, right? Because you know that individually you have to choose your man, your mate, your husband, your protector, and your provider, right? That's something um, separate. Now, collectively is something different. So, as an individual, you want to choose your, protector and provider. But collectively, I don't. It's just, yeah, it's a whole nother ball game. So,
Naima, you still there? Answer the question.
oh, I'm sorry. What did you say? Oh my,
Baby, Naima, your ass should be in politics, baby. I'm saying, baby, that's a politician right here. Congressman Naima, Congressman Buckner.
I'm
That's
a
it.
Buckner for Philadelphia. Sign me up.
Congressman Buckner.
Yes. I'm sorry. Can you repeat the question, Miss George, please?
That's Mrs. Middleton, but I'm snatched the
Well,
air. Um, do you do you think that this is a good strategy for black women?
to
Being that, okay, if
to
black
withdraw
women are
support.
withdrawing support from, if black women saying they're not blindly supporting anyone anymore, if you've come against black women saying they're not supporting you anymore, um
Is it a strategy? It is a
even if
strategy.
it's an injustice, do you think that that's a good strategy for black women?
I believe that it's a strategy that has to happen,
Mm.
whether good or bad. It's just because you have to awaken a person or people to something that you're not going to tolerate anymore, something that you're going to put your foot down to let them know that this is not going down. And it don't have to be a permanent kind of thing, but maybe just a temporarily kind of thing. So, in a sense, is it good or is it bad? Right? That's to be determined, but it is happening.
Mm. Um, where do you foresee this strategy? Where do you see foresee this strategy taking black women? Because it's one thing to say, okay, I'm done. I'm not gonna blindly support. I'm not gonna get married to you. I'm not gonna date you. What do you like? How do you feel like all of that's gonna turn out? What's your prediction, Congressman Buckner?
Well, I do believe I do believe that majority of black women will be with black men, and the majority and black women will still support black men, but they're not going to support men on everything blindly. That's all that's going on. It's just not going to be a blind kind of thing. It's going to be that okay, I back you on this, but I can't back you on that. Okay, I'm okay with backing you on this, but definitely not on that. And that's what it basically is. Black women would kind of cherry pick where their support begins and where their support ends.
Mm.
Yeah.
I don't know. I get a little bit worried about that strategy because, like I said, this is an injustice to a black man. Period. It's an injustice to a black man. Period. This woman is still walking around. This law is in effect in Florida. And the fact that she's able to be out of jail and she's chilling, it kind of worries me a bit because if this does happen to a black woman, cases are actually being or able to be won by what happened in previous cases, to prove injustices or whatever. So this case, excuse me, this case could take precedence at some point if this happened again with the opposite. And so you'll have somebody say, well, Courtney was able to be out of jail. Nobody cares that this is an injustice and it's to a black man. And it's interesting to me because we it's almost like black women aren't seeing the bigger picture, or I be mammying it up, honey. Maybe I'm not seeing the bigger picture because I'm looking at it the way I'm looking at it. I'm like, okay, this is a black man, and we've had enough shit with the justice system of the United States. Period. We've had some shit go on. So then when we have somebody that is of our color, and skin tone, and they do date out, it's almost like they shouldn't be entitled to black support, and I don't necessarily know if that's a good thing. I don't know. Shout out to Dane. He says it doesn't take very little to it doesn't take very little to lose black women's support. If you're a black man with a white wife, you automatically lose black women's support. Hashtag stop the cap. Dane, I think you have an excellent point. Because when it is for when a black man does date out, it's almost like, well, he ain't got nothing to do with us. He wasn't with us. Oh, well. And I don't even, to be honest, Dane, I don't think he had to say anything crazy on social media for it to turn out like this. I think we're on a new day, a new time. That's what I see. Shout out to Mr. Curlin. If Courtney were a black woman, do you think the reaction would be the same? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. If Courtney were a black woman, this would not, I don't even know if this would be news. I don't know if because the woman would have still been in jail for sure. Yeah, she would have been in jail for sure. What about you, Naima? What do you think?
Shout out to Brooke Curlin. But you know what? Jay Styles, he made a good point. He said, I'm going to read what he said. He said, "This is an interesting point. He was a African. He was an African, a Nigerian, not an American black man. But the American black woman are putting it on the American black man when it was a foreigner who got killed. But to me, even though he was a foreign, a Nigerian, I feel as though that a lot of black men, even from other countries, do operate in the same sense of a black man. Not 100%, but it's still basically it is similarly they have the same viewpoints on kind of pedestalizing white women. Um, but I do get his point when he's talking about that it's an African Nigerian man, because where are the Nigerian women that needs to go to bat for him? Because we don't hear them. Not saying that they don't exist, but we just
You
don't hear
have a point. I have not, but then I don't. It's not like I'm in their diaspora, so that's a good point, though. I haven't heard anything from the Nigerian sisters. Where y'all at, girl? And to be honest, I don't necessarily think that they would give support to him because he was dating a white woman when this happened. I just think that we do ourselves a disservice with the social media aspect of it because so much is said on social media. Like if you get into it with somebody and you call a person a bitch and whatever happens, it's not like you meant that for the rest of your life. Or most people get on social media to talk shit. So I don't know. I don't know. Some interesting stuff. Are you ready to drop the link?
But I wanted to put in there too because it seemed as though that um, there was some drug play involved, right? And
Mm-hmm.
to me, clearly I can clearly she sounds like and appeared to be on some kind of substance to me, allegedly to me she had that voice because I was looking at her previous videos and her current videos. Her voice has definitely changed, and there is like a drug voice that when people do a lot of drugs and stuff like that, their voice changed to this voice. So yeah, she definitely have the voice. And I don't know if he was doing those type of substances, but within that, right, that's a whole nother world when when you're doing drugs and stuff like that. And so I can see why they were saying that the relationship was toxic. And then also it's being said that Toby would allegedly he would never put his hands on her, right? That's what they're saying, that she was always the aggressor and kind of very toxic. So basically, she was in like her masculine and he was in his feminine in a sense. And I know men state that's not the dynamic that they want, but I guess it's okay when you're white. Because clearly she was the breadwinner. They was living in this penthouse, and I looked it up, one Parigio in Miami. And so
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so for a two bedroom, it's 6,000 to rent a two bedroom. For an, right, but they were in a penthouse. They said, and the penthouse goes for 30 stacks a month,
Oh wow.
30,000 a month. And if you want to buy like a one bedroom, it goes for 749,000. Right. So where's all this money coming from? Clearly from her OnlyFans, because she's making all the money. So I don't know. Was the dynamic tilted because she was the breadwinner? She was the breadwinner, so in a sense, she felt as though that she had carte blanche over him because she makes all the money. You do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah, I don't know a lot of women who are the breadwinners who actually take a submissive role. I can't think of too many women at all who are the breadwinners who play submissive roles or who would be in submissive roles. Most women who are breadwinners feel like they wear the pants, the skirts, the jackets. They bring the table, they are the table. You do what they say, or you could go, or you could sit there and fight. It's not a hard stretch. The way she was talking on OnlyFans, I didn't see yeah, I didn't see anything that suggested that Courtney would have been this nice submissive woman. But when she was on Fresh and Fit, she did say that she was that she was submissive. She said that she was submissive and she only dated rich black men.
No, she in the interview she said that she's submissive, but only in the bedroom. Other than that, she
Oh,
doesn't want anybody to tell her what to do.
oh. Let
Yeah,
me
she
see
said
if I can pull up this oh.
yes, yes. So basically, yeah, in the bedroom I'll be submissive, but other than that, yeah, don't tell me what to do. And it's funny because I know that a lot of black men say that they want submissive women. Submissive white women are submissives. They are just very dainty, very fluffy and dainty, all those different kind of things. But she was not that at all. Me watching her videos, I'm like, yeah, this. Mm-mm. She's like the, and like on her pictures I saw, she had like the braids to the back. She had like very what do you call that? The culture vulture. Yeah. So basically, yeah. So basically very culture vulturous. She had like the pictures in, and it's funny because she had the weave. She got the weave going on. She got the fake nails. She had that long eyelashes. All the things that black men say complain about in black women. She was that just in a white package.
You know what it is though? With Courtney she actually wore the same texture of hair that she grew out of her head, and I think that's the difference.
No, I wouldn't say that there's a difference, because if a man saying that he doesn't want anything extending to your natural hair, then that's what it is, right? Set aside from it, from a texture. Now, there's other brothers who's okay with it; they don't care. But I mean, the men who's very staunch. Oh, she can't have a weave. Oh, she can't have a. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I still think that it's relegated to when I've seen black women wear natural styles of weave like that, let's say they wear the textured weave. I have not ever heard a black man complain about that at all for the most part. For the most part, I don't hear them complain about that at all. But if we put like some Spanish wavy, like some Brazilian on top of our black hair, or we doing the lace fronts, I think that's when they have the most to say. But when I've seen women wear weaves that match their texture of hair, like their natural hair, I haven't heard a lot of black men complain about that at all. But then like if you getting like the city girl nails where you getting like extra stilettos and they have all the jewels and designs and stuff on them, I think that generally is a bit much for just regular everyday life. And yeah, I think that gets to be a bit much, but that's just me.
Yeah, I do agree with that. But Courtney definitely have the city girl nails. She got
Yeah,
the
but Courtney was a city girl. Courtney was on OnlyFans, and I think it's a thing that's trending um right now. Where I would say would be a bit hypocritical is she probably was out there shaking her ass too, and he was talking about black women shaking their ass on the net, but Courtney was doing a little bit more than shaking her ass on the net. But then like I said, that was a tweet he made when he was a young boy, when he was still in high school. So that's the only thing that I'm like, I don't know if we should necessarily penalize him for things that he said when he was in high school.
okay.
Shout out to Came W. He says, a shout out to Congressman Butler and Senator Sister George, my favorite Tough Talk TV.
Shout out to Kareem.
Congressman, let's drop the link and see what our people have to say about it. Um, it's interesting. It's
Okay,
interesting.
let's get some people up there. Um, let's get some people to jump on. Hold it down for 1 second. I'm gonna be right back while we gather up the troops. Whoever's going to jump on, because I would love to hear other you guys' opinion. So definitely jump on, and I'll be right back.
Okay. Well, shout out to everybody in the chat. Please, 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 please hit the like button. And if you haven't subscribed, you probably are subscribed because it's only like 50 people up in here. But you're here, and I'm happy. I'm happy to see y'all. Whether it's 50 or 5,000, I'm still going to be just as excited. I'm going to have the same energy. So, yeah. Zone, you said you came here to save the snow bunnies. Well, that snow bunny is still out. She chilling. She looks like she needs to be saved, Zane. Zone. I called you Zane. Uh-oh, I got my what you call it playing in the background. Well, the link has been dropped in the chat just in case anybody wants to come up and have this discussion. So,
And you
yeah.
know what? And also, I find is that when a lot of people, it's funny because a lot of people say what they don't want, what they won't tolerate, but then in real life, we just see the opposite. We just see the opposite of these things. I
But
just
your preferences hasn't changed since high school, or you've been into the same type of men since high school?
I don't have one type of anything. So that would never work for me anyway.
So what I'm saying is if he was in high school and he was saying all this shit about black women or whatever, I don't know. I just feel like it could be a thing that change, or your maturity level changes, or you may see something one way when you're in high school, but then you grow up. And then he was living in Miami, so Miami has a lot of hot women. It's a lot of hot women in Miami. When you move to a place like Miami and all the girls are hot and they're hanging out and they're partying and they're doing drugs and this, that, and the third, I think that a lot of stuff could change within that period of time, especially really going into adulthood, right?
No, I agree with that. That yeah, that your things can change from high school to adulthood for sure. No, I agree with that part for sure. Yeah. I'm not saying that it's not going to change. Well, what I'm saying, the point I'm trying to make is that when a lot of people say that, oh, I don't want this, I don't want those things, right? They're talking, they'll outline things that they may not like. Oh, well, a woman being overweight and all those different things. But when you look into their wife or their baby mom or their girlfriend, right? They're overweight, and no diss with overweight, right? Because I got some pounds on me too, right? So there's no diss there. But what I'm saying is when we hear these loud voices saying what they don't want, and it's like, but in reality, right, you'll see that that's not the case in their real life. That's the only point I'm trying to make.
Um, I think you do have some people that could be very hypocritical and say what they wouldn't do or what they wouldn't tolerate. But I sometimes I feel like a lot of men live vicariously through other men and will say what they wouldn't do, but or they wouldn't do this, that, and the third. But it's a lot of influence from men to each other, especially when it comes to a place like this. A lot of influences here. So a lot of men will get on here and say what they wouldn't do, what they wouldn't entertain. And you never know. Like when you get off this net, the net is a different place, but you can come here and be whomever you want to be.
Right. You know what DJ Nappy says, Naima Buckner, your statement lacks context though. So I guess let me give it context because he did mention some things about, he had some tweets about basically, and this is, yeah, these are old tweets and all of those different kind of things. But basically, black girls disgracing themselves, ghetto, and all of these different things referencing black girls. But yeah, Courtney Tailor is very ghetto. She's very ghetto.
But let me ask you a question, because one thing that we discovered yesterday, he did not have that same type of rhetoric like the couple of years leading up into his demise. He didn't have that same type of mindset.
No, but it's even separate from that. This is, it doesn't matter because it was said, and he said this is not what I'm down with. But and we don't have anything in between that, so it's to assume to say that it's not what he wanted because there's no in between.
Yeah, but a person does not have to want me. They don't have to want me if there was a fucked up injustice to happen to them and he was black. He doesn't have to want me for me to say something about that, um or for me to feel any type of way. Because if something happened to me and I needed whose ever support, it shouldn't matter if I like them or not, or or whatever. I feel like because a lot of things have happened to us systemically and by the justice system, by the hands of the justice system, I just think that we do ourselves a really, really big injustice. And we're saying that, as black women, oh, we're not supporting him. We ain't got nothing for him, da 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 da. But, when shit happened to Sandra Bland or the Lauren girl, black women want support for their own causes. They want a lot of support for their own causes. And almost feel like this movement where black women aren't feeling like they're getting their just due. I feel like that movement is actually increasing, and I feel like it's going to end up in war, but I don't necessarily know if that's a war that black women are necessarily prepared for. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Wars is bad for business.
Well, yeah, yeah, I agree with that. And a lot of women are, ultimately we can never be really prepared for any type of war because we are, basically in a sense we don't have the strength and all of that to carry that out, right? It doesn't matter if we, carry a firearm, right? But yet and still, this is not what we're meant to do. So I do agree with you on that perspective.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'll drop the link one more time, and if nobody wants to come up, we can get ready to shut it on down, honey. What's up, Auntie?
Yeah, and I just yeah, I just think I just think that yeah, within the situation and they're not really given too much details. The only thing that we really know about the relationship is um that it was toxic and it was violent between the two. So basically this is a DV relationship.
Yeah.
Um yeah, this is the DV relationship, and even though their friends saying that they saw these different things, no one basically really stepped in. And maybe had their friend stepped in, Toby would be living, right? No one take these DV relationships seriously. Same thing when they say that a black woman is eliminated every 5.5 hours. No one takes these things seriously. So, so do we need to start taking these relate when these things are happening, we're like, oh, okay, well, they'll be okay, or they're just arguing, or they're just fighting, they're just doing these different things. We take it lightly. Do we need to really take it seriously? And I think that we do, because we brush these things off, um
I
for both
think I think it's a thing, and this is gonna sound insensitive as hell. I already know. But I think it's one of those things. If we've all seen people that have been in relationships where those relationships were domestic, and we've seen women go back into those same situations time and time again. I think the last time I read some stuff on DV stats, it was like I think about 75% go back, or it was a ridiculous number as to how many times they go back. And I think it was like an average of like 6 times before they actually left the relationship. Like 6 times. And so it's almost like people will say that I want protection, but I want protection when I want protection, but not necessarily when I should have protection. You will see women be in certain fucked up situations and go right back into those same fucked up situations and still look for a man to protect them. And it's like, well, when I try, and men will say, well, when I tried to protect you, you didn't give a fuck. You didn't want my protection when I tried to protect you. When I tried to tell you when to listen, you didn't care. So then when you do what you want to do, you also have to face the consequences of. I don't know. I just
Yeah, and you know what? And I don't really hear a lot of talk on this matter when it comes to black men. And I think that the reason why I haven't heard black men saying too much about this relationship is because it's not a black woman's in order for them to talk shit about her, because this is still a white woman. So I'm not really. It's very crickety. It's very crickets. You're in the suburbs, and all you hear is crickets. I hear a whole bunch of crickets, and I think that oh yes. And because I would love to hear their opinion on these different things, but I cannot. It's very. I can't find it. Black men, what is your opinion on this with this white woman eliminating this African man? He's still across the pond. Well, he's in Miami, but I'm just saying he's still of color, right?
yeah, I will tell you that I think I've seen to
To that sisterhood laugh.
he be killing me.
Uh,
When it comes down to certain situations, black men will definitely be on the hush hush. And I definitely find that to be interesting because they definitely do get quiet. But situations like this and then Black History Month, they do not talk about the white woman and pedestalize her during these specific times. So I don't know. I think that's, and you bring about a good point because they don't say anything when these type of things happen. So that's a good point. Well, Naima, we're gonna get ready to shut it down. We did an hour on this thing. Hit the like button, support us. Um, yeah, we're gonna go live and talk. Have some juicy drama, gossip talk one day. So hit the like button and subscribe. Naima, you got any final thoughts?
Yes, I wanted to. On Thursday, we're going to have the champion game, Coach EO, on Thursday at 6 p.m. You guys got to tune in. We got Coach EO. He's going to bring he's going to bring the goodness to everybody. We're going to talk a little bit about everything. So definitely, guys, tune in. He's a good brother with blue eyes, and we welcome him over here. So you guys definitely tune in. But we will be back tomorrow at 6 p.m. But just
Tomorrow, Tuesday, girl.
huh?
You
Yeah, I said tomorrow.
oh.
Yeah,
Mm.
tomorrow's Tuesday at 6 p.m. But I just wanted to throw it out there that Coach EO will be, joining this, coming onto the platform on Thursday at 6 p.m.
Okay. Well, you guys, they said the Manosphere John B.
Yes, he's definitely the manosphere John B.
Yes. Well, you guys definitely don't want to miss that. Because we're gonna be chopping up some, dare I say it, game. Um,
Yes.
and we know a lot of you guys need it, so definitely here to assist and to help. But oh, wait a minute. He said he's seen 4 streams about it. Oshwa, Jada Black, and others. Black women never do streams on white dudes killing or giving black women HIV. The last thing I heard on a white dude killing a black woman and giving them, well, that Jason Pope thing, and we weren't doing. I wasn't doing. Neither one of us was doing content around that time. And white dudes killing black women. I don't know. I haven't. The only well, we did talk about Mercedes Moore. Who else? We touched on Lauren Smith Field, so our channel did cover the two that we heard about. We did cover it a smidge, but we weren't, it was
But you know what? I think Nate basically, um, black women never pedestalize white men. So if you
what?
well, not at the extent of black men pedestalizing white women. They're starting to do it now, but that's never been a thing. Black women, you never heard black women say, "Oh, Brad is better than Tyrone. Oh, Brad is better than Hakeem." No, it's starting to happen now because black women are fed up. But black men have in this space always said, "Well, uh, white women do it better." Maria, Ling Ling, Karen, yes, they have said these different things.
I don't know. I guess it's because of the internet space that we've been in as of late. I've definitely been hearing a lot of that type of rhetoric, but it could just be from the space that we're in. But I've definitely been hearing that on the divestment side for sure. Like
Yes,
for sure.
I hear it now, but because of what black men have been pedestalizing, they're just coming back with their stuff. Other than that, no.
Okay.
That's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. Yeah, black women are starting to say, listen, Brad is this, or and all of this is that because of black men coming at black women to put them. Oh, well, you're Karen. Karen is this, Marie is that, Lee Ling is that. They've been saying it, and women have been coming back with the Brad kind of thing. So,
Okay. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. And we will see you guys back here tomorrow at 6 p.m. Hit the subscribe button and we're out.
alrighty, peace.